Good evening. This is CTV News from Monday, August 31st. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Patricia Malone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well, as an impending deadline quickly approaches, many small businesses across the nation are refurbishing their payment systems to be compliant with new federal regulations. In a story you'll only see on CTV News, we tell you how one local bakery is making the technology change.
It wasn't long ago that this was the latest technology for small businesses. But with a host of major data breaches this past year, the federal government is finally catching up with the rest of the world by requiring banks and credit card companies to start using updated chip technology to prevent fraud. Come October 1st, small businesses will also have to make the change or be responsible for fraudulent charges.
The last step is to attach the credit card reader.
Many local companies only recently learned about the new regulations and are just making the switch.
We now have a new system that includes a chip reader, and today is actually a first day that we're utilizing that system. So we hope that, not only to be in compliance, we will be in compliance, but also to prevent any inconvenience for our customers.
Cheryl Harrington says the upgrade will cost her business about $1,500.
We took it as an opportunity to upgrade not just our credit card processing, but our entire system. So it is an unforeseen expense, but I feel that in the long run, it's going to be a good business investment.
Now, according to PaymentsLeader.com, annual costs for credit card fraud in the U.S. average nearly $9 billion and could reach $10 billion by the end of 2015.
And with overdose deaths on the rise in Maryland, the Hogan administration is making the issue a key focus. As part of Overdose Awareness Week, Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford visited the Hope House Treatment Center this morning. Latifah Majid has more.
Last year, we had over 500 overdose deaths in this state.
As a part of Overdose Awareness Week, Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford visited Hope House Treatment Center in Crownsville.
Overdose Awareness Week. Whereas prescription drug overdose is now the #1 cause of accidental death in Maryland.
With Maryland's growing heroin and opioid crisis, Governor Larry Hogan has created a task force to help with prevention, treatment, and recovery.
And that is why the governor had asked in our task force that we take a holistic approach to this particular issue, starting with prevention. As I like to say, we have to stop that pipeline of new users coming through the system.
Peter D'Souza, who runs Hope House Treatment Center, says he sees more patients addicted to one specific drug.
Huge number of people that are with us with heroin, because heroin has become the cheapest drug. It's cheaper than prescribed medications. So heroin has become so cheap that, and it is so pure too. So, you can get it for much less money than all the others. So 8:30 in the morning, they will have all the different exercise stress, small group counseling.
With a bed to lie on and nutritious food to eat, Hope House patients spend weeks going through group counseling and physical activity. But counselors say their facility is just step one.
It takes time. This is just the first step. This is just a couple of weeks. And it's taken them years to get to where they are with their addiction, and then we have them for only 2 to 3 weeks. So this is just the beginning of that process.
More people could be helped, but a federal law requires treatment centers to have 16 or fewer beds in order to get Medicaid coverage, something that D'Souza says needs to change.
We could have maybe even 3 or 4 more facilities like this, and all of them will be filled up.
In Crownsville, I'm Latifah Majid, CTV News.
More events will be held throughout the week.
Governor Larry Hogan is urging members of Maryland's congressional delegation to help secure $900 million in federal funding for the Purple Line. Hogan also notified them that state and local contributions are now in place. In a letter to Senior Senator Barbara Mikulski, the governor informed lawmakers that Montgomery and Prince George's counties have met state demands by agreeing to spend tens of millions more on the project. This leaves federal and private investments as the last major financial pieces that need to be in place before the next phase of the 12-mile transit between New Carrollton and Bethesda can begin.
Well, tenants at an apartment complex in Tacoma Park are being asked to pay a really high increase in rent or move out. Well, last July, residents living at the Hampshire Towers apartment say they received a notice saying their rent could go up as much as 72%. CASA says since the building was sold, tenants have been having issues with the new management.
The representatives of the company have been door knocking every single tenant, kind of forcing them to take a decision. They have until today, really till the 31st, to decide, but they've been, harassing them for a couple weeks now. Our main role right now is to provide support for the tenants, right? We are not leading this campaign. We are just helping them out in whatever they see that we can help them with. One of them is really contacting the local elected officials and making sure that, they're informed and that DHCA plays a part into it, Department of Housing Community Affairs is playing a part of it, that they're aware of what's going on.
Well, CASA will hold a press conference on the issue later this evening.
The Attorney General's office is asking for the Maryland Ethics Commission's ruling on whether the former governor violated rules regarding state-owned property. According to the Baltimore Sun, officials claim that Martin OMalley took 54 pieces of furniture he purchased with him after leaving office. Sources say the items used in the residential section of the governor's mansion cost taxpayers $62,000, but OMalley paid the Department of General Services less than $10,000 for them. Now, an agency rule prohibits preferential sales of state-owned property to government employees. Former Maryland Governor Marvin Mandel dies at the age of 95. Mandel was elected governor in 1969 to serve the remaining 2 years of Spiro Agnew's term, who resigned to become Richard Nixon's vice president. The Democrat won re-election in 1970 and 1974 and was recognized for modernizing and streamlining state government. But Mandel's tenure was overshadowed by a racketeering conviction centered around the Marlboro racetrack in Prince George's County, a conviction that was later overturned on appeal. Governor Larry Hogan ordered flags flown at half-staff today in honor of the former governor. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Byron Scott.